You know, it was funny. I remember when I first started out precepting nursing students. I remember, it's kind of weird because it just didn't seem like just a year ago I was like in their position. So just to kind of see how stringent, the nursing instructors was coming on the unit to make sure they was on their phones or they have to write up this FCCE focus narrative. And I just remember I had such a good time, pouring into new nursing students. I remember when my manager asked me to take a preceptor class because we was going to have new grads come in, and I was told that I was going to be one of the orienters for new grads. So I thought, okay, cool. We finally about to get some help on this unit. And I remember her saying that, well, we're going to be interviewing, potential new grads over the next 2 weeks. And I remember she said it's going to be about 18 of them. And I said, wow, and I just kept thinking, who else on the unit is going to be, precepting? I just kind of looked around and was like, man, it seems like maybe most of us probably going to, you know, have maybe a student. So I'm thinking, okay, here we go. About about 3 weeks later, I remember the schedule came out, and it was just me and Lydia on the schedule. And I thought, say, whoa, me and Lydia, what are me and Lydia doing on the schedule? I can't train a whole bunch of people. Like, what's going on? Asked my nurse manager, hey, it's just me and Lydia on the schedule. How we supposed to train a slew of new grads? My manager kind of stopped, looked at me, and was like, we only hiring two. Said, man, hope they check their spam folder. Welcome to my podcast. Now, keep this in mind. We interviewed 18 and only took two. But in our defense, honestly, we didn't have the staff to train more than two. And that's kind of one of the things that kind of baffled me. Today in nursing, there are plenty of jobs in every area of practice because it's a shortage. And that's kind of one of the ways that now nursing, we're different than nursing 10 years ago. Back 10 years ago in nursing, you had this thing called the kiss of death in nursing, where when you got out of school, if you didn't go into a hospital and work 1 year inpatient, then you kind of ruined your career, because by the time you wanted to go and find a job in a hospital, if you didn't have hospital experience, you kind of experienced out of just coming in entry level, because they're not going to pay you a lot of money and then they have to teach you like your entry level nurse. So most of the time, if you didn't get 1 year inpatient experience, it kind of hurt your career. If you wanted to come and work in a hospital, you kind of stay outpatient the whole time. With the nursing shortage now, it really doesn't matter. If you got a post and a license, you can get a job anywhere. Before, you had to be an experienced nurse to get a job in the ED, or experienced nurse to get a job in the ICU, or experienced nurse to get a job in the cath lab, experienced nurse to get a job in case management, experienced nurse if you want to go to interventional radiology. Now it doesn't matter. If you got at least a year experience, then you can pretty much, if you find a job interview, it's pretty much yours. Now, the downside to that is that as a new grad, you have no experience, and there's less preceptors because of a shortage of nurses. So now you have all these new grad residencies, but the problem is the unit may not have a lot of slots on the unit because they have a shortage of nursing. Do you kind of see how that can be real competitive? So what I want to do is kind of give you just a look from the inside out, because I've been a new grad, I've been a preceptor, I've done interviews for new grads, and I want to kind of tell you some of the things that you can do to kind of lock down what you want to do. and you can get it, and you can beat the competition, but you got to be strategic about it. So here's what I mean by that. So on my last unit, we had some people who pretty much were in nursing school. We had some techs that were in nursing school, and they kind of worked as quote unquote nurse interns. They were our techs. They were in nursing school, and so when they graduated, we already knew that they were going to work there and they was going to get a new grad seat. The problem is that we still got to post it, and you still got to do interviews, even though the people who's going to work there and be selected for the new grad residency already worked there and they've already got the slot. So you come in for the interview thinking, hey, I got the experience, I can do this. But the problem is that that position is already taken. The department just got to go through the motions. Happens a lot. So how do you avoid this? It all goes back to your clinicals. You have to network during your clinicals. And here's what I mean by that. In your clinicals, be observant, but take that opportunity to lock down what you want. For example, if you want to work in the emergency department and you do your ED rotations, you might want to look around and check to find out who in there works as a tech that's currently in nursing school. Because most of the time they're going to be working, and when you're doing your clinicals, try to find out how many in there are in nursing school. If you don't have any that's in nursing school, good. That can work to your advantage because now you can put your best foot forward. I know one ED, I had already locked in a job. The charge nurse told me, hey, I want you on my team. Only because during a situation I explained in the previous episode, patient was crashing. The PA needed push dose epi. No one in there knew how to do push dose epi but me. It was really simple. I took that 1 to 10 and I wasted 9 and I drew up saline. And so it's basically a 10 mil syringe with 9 mils of saline and 1 milligram of epi 1 to 10,000. And that was push those epi she needed. Simple. I learned that as being a paramedic. And what happened was charge nurse came to me and said, I want you on my team. If I lived a little closer, that would have been an easy pickup for me. So it's how you perform. Also make relations. Do you your preceptor, ask her some little insight. Hey, how many NAs you guys got in nursing school, or how many new grad positions you guys are going to have, coming up, or let them know you're interested in working in the area. They can introduce you to the supervisor. They can introduce you to the nurse manager, so you can get the buy-in from the charge nurse. So then that way they already know you and have name recognition. Also, just network during your clinicals. Period. That's really all it takes. You just got to beat out the competition. Now, keep in mind, the majority of the people who's going to apply to that unit probably have never done clinicals on that unit. So when I think back at the first 2 EDs that I applied to, I didn't get those positions, and I was wondering why I didn't get it. Why I didn't get it is because I never done clinicals there. So for them, I was just a name on paper. Who knows? Maybe they only had 2 positions, and maybe they had 2 ED techs that were in nursing school that they already had in mind to fill those positions. Not only that, maybe there was some nursing students that came through and performed really well doing their clinicals, and that's what caused them to take a look at them and offer them a position before I even applied. So if you want to get whatever residency position you want, take advantage of that during your clinicals. And that's probably the best advice I can give you. And then that way, the unit, you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I talked about in part 2. And you don't have to go through the disappointment that I did, like in part 1. So hopefully that kind of give you guys just a little bit more of insider knowledge. And now listen to part 1, 2, and 3. You guys should be good to go and be to lock down that new grad residency that you've always wanted. All right. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Happy nursing. And let's get, as always, hey, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Paramedic2 RNinfo. Remember the number 2.